Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to EatWell Bites. I'm Julie Chabdi, the Associate Director of the Health and Wellbeing Program with the WorkWell Center. And the USC Healthy Campus EatWell Subcommittee is pleased to bring today's topic to you on optimizing nutrition on the go. Throughout today's session, you're welcome to use the chat to make comments or ask questions. And at the end, we'll have some announcements, an opportunity for Q&A, and we'll also have an evaluation form for all of you to fill out, as well as a raffle. So please make sure you're muted to minimize any background noise. I'd like to thank our EatWell co-leads, Professor Carrie Kreutzer with the USC Leonard Davis School of Gerontology and Keck School of Medicine, and Lindsay Pine, dining dietitian, USC Hospitality. And on behalf of our subcommittee, we're pleased to continue EatWell Bites for summer and fall. And these are the first Thursdays of every month, with the goal of providing you with practical tips, demonstrations, resources to support all of you to improve your health and quality of life through nutrition and healthy eating habits. So over the next 30 minutes, you'll be hearing from our expert speaker around this very important topic. And I also like to thank the members of our EatWell subcommittee who have been working really hard to create a health promoting food environment here at USC. As always, make sure that you are moving, taking some time to stretch throughout the day, and you're welcome to do that anytime during today's session. So now I'd like to introduce our presenter for today, Frida Hovik, registered dietitian and clinical research coordinator, Department of Neurology, and she'll be sharing her expertise and tips on optimizing nutrition on the go, smart eating strategies for traveling, and summer adventures. So a very, very timely topic for all of you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Frida.
Great. Thank you so much, Julia, for the introduction. So today we are going to dive into the topic of optimizing nutrition on the go, whether you may be traveling, maybe you are going on a hike, maybe you are gonna be relaxing on the beach, or maybe even working in the office. We will talk about a lot of different types of eating strategies to keep you fueled and feeling great throughout the summer, throughout different activities that you may be doing. So let's discover how to make every meal, including a lot of nutritious snacks, a part of every summer adventure. So we will be talking about a lot about key nutritional needs. We're going to talk about the importance of planning, what are some smart food choices, how can we eat out but still stay on track with our goals, what are important hydration tips. There's definitely some challenges that we may encounter during the summer to stay on track with our goals and eating healthy. So we're going to discuss that a little bit, as well as some culture considerations. So why is this an important topic? So we know that the importance of nutrition during travel and different summer activities are really crucial for us to have enough energy to fuel the activities that we're doing, whether it's a hike or maybe swimming or even driving. You want your mind to be clear and healthy when you're on the go. Hydration, very important during the summer, especially essential in hot climates. This will, of course, help with fatigue and overall hydration levels. And we know there are challenges faced with maintaining a balanced diet during the summer because there's time constraints. When we are on the go, it's less time to prepare our meals. And that's also why healthy snacks are very crucial during this time. And there's also limited options if we're on a road trip. Maybe there's no convenience stores. Maybe there's just a gas station that doesn't have a lot of offers. So that's why this topic is very important that we will be talking about today. So before I continue, next slide here, if everybody can write, what is your favorite travel snack? So you can write in the chat box and we can see what different snacks you would bring when you are traveling. Dried pears, fruits, trail mix, nuts. Yeah, great. So many great options. Almond butter, cherries. Yeah, definitely a lot of fruits, berries, and nuts, easy and portable snacks that you can bring wherever you go. Yeah, so many great ideas here. So hopefully throughout this presentation too, maybe there's some new snacks that you can add when you're on the go. So next slide here, just to cover just the key nutritional needs that our body needs, not just the rest of the year, but again, during the summer months, very important to still get all these nutrients. So we have the three famous macronutrients: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So why do we need carbohydrates? It is the primary energy source that we can find in grains and a lot of fruits. We need proteins, of course, to build and repair our tissues. We can find this in beans, in fish, as well as in meat. And then we have fats, which are for energy storage. We need it for all the cellular functions in our body. We can find this in a lot of good oils, such as olive oil, avocado oil. We can also find it in nuts, in fatty fish, just to mention a few. And then, of course, we have our micronutrients that are vitamins and minerals that are essential for energy and immune support. So we have vitamins, we need it for metabolism, again, immune function. As a couple of vitamins, vitamin C and vitamin B are some water-soluble vitamins that we need. And then we have minerals that support our bone health as well as nerve function. A couple of example, calcium and iron. So that's why we see we do need all these both macro and micronutrients for our body to function. Planning ahead. So we all know that during the summer, whether you maybe have kids or family or are with friends, it's important to plan ahead to ensure that we can incorporate balanced nutrition and stay on track. So the importance of planning, ensuring balanced nutrition, it also helps us avoiding relying on unhealthy options. Again, taking the example of being on a road trip, if you're going to be on the road many hours and you don't have any snacks with you, you may have to stop at the gas station. Maybe they have some healthy options, who knows, but most likely, maybe not. So that's why it's very important to plan. And of course, it saves a lot of time. You don't have to worry, where am I going to stop? Then you have to interrupt the trip. If you just have it planned from the beginning, you will save time. And also importantly, you will save money as well, because you don't have to grab whatever is available at the most or the closest place where you are. Packing essentials. So it's also important to plan how you're going to pack the nutrition that you're bringing with you. We know from all the great examples that nuts, the fruits, even yogurt are great examples that it's very easy to pack with you. And you can just grab it in your purse or your backpack or in your car, as well as water bottles. It's always good to have some water handy, especially, and also reusable. So it's better for our environment, of course, because we don't always know if we're gonna find water if we're on the road. So it's great to always have a bottle with you. And then having travel-friendly containers really helps with the freshness of the food as well as portion control. Like the picture here on the right side, when it has these gray compartments, we can portion it out ahead of time so we don't overeat straight from the bag of the food item. So some smart food choices. So some of the nutrition snacks that again were mentioned, some great examples. There's a lot of nuts, for example, almonds, we have walnuts. These nuts are packed with protein as well as healthy fats. We have fruits, for example, apples, bananas, oranges, very rich in vitamins, very portable as well, again, easy to bring on the go. We have yogurt. I like to mention Greek yogurt. It has a lot of probiotics, which is very good for gut health and our digestion. It also contains a lot of protein. And then we have some quick meal ideas that will fuel you a little bit more than just a snack. So we have sandwiches. I like to emphasize trying to pick whole grain bread, lean meats. You can fill it up with vegetables. It's a very balanced meal. It contains all the nutrients we need, the macronutrients, especially if you add some avocado, for example, for the fat source. And it's also filling. We have wraps, again, the whole wheat tortilla to make sure we get fiber with the food. You can have it with some grilled chicken, some lettuce, and you can really customize this to your personal preferences as well. And then salads, very customizable. You can put mixed greens in it. You can put beans, nuts, maybe some olive oil, very nutrient dense as well as refreshing, and very easy to bring on the go when you are traveling. So we know that during the summertime, especially when you're traveling, you may be eating more out than usual. And we want to, of course, enjoy eating out, but still staying on track. And of course, it's okay occasionally to eat something that you don't eat every day. But if you're going to be gone for like a few weeks, you want to still try to be mindful of what you're eating. So although you're eating out, there are some tips to make healthier choices at a restaurant. So you can look for certain keywords, and we see that choosing grilled or steamed may be better than, for example, fried food. When it comes to portion control, consider sharing a meal, or you can always maybe order smaller portion size, or you can bring the leftovers home with you after as well. Restaurants always have a lot of vegetables. You can order salad, even on the side if your dish doesn't have salad, steamed vegetables, or vegetable-based dishes as well, a great option. And when you are reading the menus, look for the keywords such as grilled, steamed, roasted, broiled. These are going to be better than fried, breaded, creamy. So these are ways, although you may see a dish that look very healthy, but the preparation and the way it's made may cause it to be unhealthy, or it can be healthy if you find these right keywords. And lastly, a tips is to ask for modifications. You can always request to get the dressing on the side. You can ask to substitute maybe the fries for salad or the fries for a fruit bowl. There's always a lot of substitutions that can be made as well. And then I want to add another one is, I know restaurants love to put out bread before the food. You can always ask them, don't bring it out, just to prevent that temptation. Or if you have it, just take a little bit and then move on to the main meal that you're going to eat. And then for hydration, very important again to stay hydrated in the summer months, always throughout the year, of course, but again, especially when we are in hotter climates. We do need hydration for optimal physical and cognitive performance, including during the travel, during when we travel, as well as activities that we may participate in during the summertime. It prevents dehydration, reduces the risk of fatigue, and of course, heat-related illnesses, which we absolutely want to avoid. And you don't want to wait until you're super thirsty. You want to drink water throughout the day. Choosing water over soda is also giving you a lot of hydration without all the excess calories. And it also helps you avoid those energy crashes that sugary drinks may cause. So during the summertime when we travel versus our regular day-to-day routine, there are of course some challenges that makes it a little bit harder to eat nutritious food and follow our routine. And again, that's why planning is so important. I always like to kind of visualize my day. So let's say I'm going to travel one day. I know we all usually know when we get hungry, when our meal times are. So kind of planning okay, this is the time I will most likely be hungry for lunch. Am I going to eat out? If you are going to eat out, maybe you can research the restaurant, even look over the menus, just overall planning ahead. And then choosing wisely, so opt for whole foods like fruits, nuts, or yogurt. And then managing cravings and impulse eating. Again, staying hydrated, because sometimes when we are thirsty, we may think that we're hungry, but we just need more water. And then mindful eating, recognizing those triggers and choosing healthier alternatives. So if you know that what may cause you to want a particular food that is not so good for us, maybe have a plan in advance. So, okay, I know I may be stressed in this situation and I'm gonna want to reach for chocolate. Maybe I'll have some nuts ready to go instead. So of course, when we're traveling, we don't want to feel that we're super restricted. We want to enjoy the culture or the place we're visiting. So we still, of course, want to do that. But again, we don't have to go overboard. And there's, of course, tricks we can do to still maintain our nutritional goals. So most places, a lot of local foods, most of the times can be very good for us. Local fruits, local vegetables, as well as lean proteins, and then portion control. So if there is, for example, a dish that may be very rich, you can, again, enjoy a smaller portion of it. So just have a small portion, enjoy it, and then move on. Don't go back for a second round, but just enjoy it so you get the taste of the different cultural cuisine. And also, again, the portion awareness, use smaller plates. You can share the meals with your significant other or your friend or whoever you're with, or bring the leftover maybe home. And also ingredient awareness. You can always ask about the cooking methods. What are the sauces? Are there some hidden fats that you may don't recognize initially before you really ask about the ingredients? All right, so to recap some of the key points, planning, of course, really the key. Try to visualize your day or your plan. What are you going to do? What are you going to eat? What is going to be available? And pack nutritious snacks and and plan the meals ahead. What are smart choices when you do eat out? Choose grilled, steamed, as well as whole foods. Hydration, opt for water over sugary beverages. And then encouragement for maintaining a balanced diet during the travel and summer adventures. You will stay more energized. You will have more energy for the different adventures you're on. Staying hydrated, because water is essential for performance and overall health. And then, of course, most importantly, you also want to explore the new foods, but at the same time, making mindful choices. So yeah, with that being said, if you have any questions, I will definitely go through those we have time for. Let me see here in the chat box. Any good ideas for food on long flights? Okay, that's a great question, because you may not always have access to a refrigerator. So again, some of the snacks, like dried snacks that doesn't need to be refrigerated, is always good options. Sometimes you are able to ask the flight attendants to keep something cool in their fridge if you're lucky. If you're not all the flight attendants will do that, but maybe some. Even just preparing some salad ahead with some protein, fats, and carbohydrates, sandwich or a wrap that I mentioned. Yeah, those are a few ideas.
Thank you so much, Frida, for that nice overview and getting us thinking about our hopefully current summer travels right now, as we have vacation time for a lot of us here. Question for you about like fast food. A lot of traveling requires stopping off at like drive-throughs and fast food. Any quick tips on how to choose when you're in that drive-through and that big billboard of options?
Yes, great question. I always like tell people when I go to a restaurant, you can put me in any restaurant and or a fast food restaurant, and I'm still able to kind of modify and substitute to create a healthy meal. So even let's say just a classic example is the hamburger. You can always ask for salad instead of the bun. Again, the dressing on the side. If there's a salad, don't get the dressing and ask for olive oil, maybe vinaigrette, because usually most meals have some type of healthy food in it. It's just all the additives that are added on it. And trying to first, yeah, remember to include some protein, some vegetables with it, of course, a little bit of carbohydrate, preferably complex carb. But most of the times you would have to substitute a little bit or modify whatever you find on the menu at that fast food chain.
Great, great. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. I have one more. What about some ideas for breakfast, Frida? I know you've mentioned a lot of good lunch and ideas for dinner with sandwiches and salads and wraps and the snacks, of course. But what about for like breakfast? What would you suggest?
Yeah, that's a great question. So again, it can be very, I always like to personalize my recommendations just because people have different like preferences, sensitivities, different goals. So it may vary. But just some general tips, like an avocado toast on whole grain with an egg, maybe a smoothie with the, again, not with all the high sugar fruits, but with more low sugar fruits, including some protein in it as well. Greek yogurt, overnight oats, for example. Yeah, you want to pair it with some type of protein, some carbs, and some good fats.
Question about nuts. This person is asking for, are there other substitution for nuts that you can think of? Or, and if we're not asking your question correctly, just feel free to clarify because I see that Lindsay made some suggestions like whole grain crackers, crunchy veggies like baby carrots and jicama sticks, but I think you want to know more about substitutes for nuts.
Yeah, so when I think of nuts, I think of it in the fat category. It does have some protein as well, but if you think of some fat sources, maybe like a half avocado is a great snack. You could have some hummus with, I know Lindsay mentioned, or maybe not hummus, yeah, but for example, baby carrots and the jicama sticks with hummus, um, or some guacamole. Other sources of something similar to nuts, seeds, that may be a very similar category, but that could be an option. There are some granola that are good. Many are very high in sugar, but I know there are certain brands that are made with better ingredients and no sugar added. So sometimes granola can be an option as well. Yeah.
And I guess for those that have specific health conditions like diverticulitis, nuts may not be a good idea. So a lot of other options you
Exactly.
mentioned. Yeah.
That's why I always like to give more personalized recommendation based on maybe potential diagnosis or again, what are the goals? It may differ between person to person.
Mm-hmm. A question about what healthy ingredients are recommended for extended camping trips when access to a fridge might be limited or not even existing.
Yeah. That's a great question. I know the store Rai, which is an outdoor recreational store, they have a lot of great options for food where you don't need a fridge and they contains all the nutrients that we need because you're not gonna be able to just live on snacks for like many days if you're on an extended camping trip. So I'll maybe look into those type of camping meals. And even though some of them may be higher in sodium and certain preservatives because it's not going to be refrigerated, so it has to have some additives to maintain like the store the short shelf life. But if it's just for a few days, that is completely fine.
What about food safety for traveling? Like if we're in a car for a long time or like at the beach or camping, do you have any
Yeah.
recommendations on just keeping food safe?
Yeah, I would recommend if you can to bring one of those cooling bags. If you have a little bag with some of those coolers in it, that will definitely help with maintaining the freshness as well as the food safety. There are certain foods you don't want to be too cold over longer time because bacteria can grow. So you want to be mindful of those. But if you have a cooling bag, that will definitely help with that.
Great, great. Any other questions? We have about another minute left for Q&A before we wrap up. What healthy snacks can you recommend if someone is allergic to fish
Uh,
to get omega minerals?
Um, so if you like some type of like seaweed or algae, so the fish actually gets its omega from algae. So you can still get a lot of the omega from certain algae or seaweed that we can buy in the store. If somebody is vegan, for example, I always would recommend to take an omega-3 supplement, and there's even vegan omega-3 supplements made from algae, because it's very essential to get enough omega-3 fatty acids. If someone is allergic to fish, trying to think of, yeah, I think that would be my answer.
Great. And then Lindsay put a resource in the chat if you all want to check it out there. But thank you so much, Frida, for your excellent presentation and very, very timely for all of us. So hopefully all of you here can plan accordingly for your next trip this summer. And with that, I'll turn it over to Lindsay for a preview of a few things and announcements.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, so the comment I made in the chat, it was from Suzanne's question about camping trips. And there is a dietitian who has a business that where she puts together different I guess foods that are good for camping if you're going to go on a trip. So that was the link that I put in the chat there. So, okay, so I just wanted to mention here that if you need some tips for eating healthier on campus this summer, be sure to check out the Healthier Eating Guide on Campus, which is available. You can scan that QR code on the screen to get it. Later in August, we will have a more comprehensive version of the guide for fall, once all of the hospitality venues open on campus. And then also the EatWell meals right now, Seeds does have some breakfast items. So it's a great way to start your day. And next slide, please. So we are still accepting submissions for the staff faculty cookbook, and we would really love to highlight your favorite go-to recipes. Also remember, if you're not sure if it's healthy or not, don't worry about it. Please still submit your recipes. We would really love to have them. And next slide. And then, so this is what we have coming up for our next Eat Well Bite session, which will be on August 1st. It's all about dairy and milk alternatives, which is a really hot topic. And our speaker will be going over the pros, the cons, the health benefits, and culinary uses. And as always, you can register for all of our Eat Well Bite sessions on the Eat Well website.
Great. And spread the word to your other colleagues too, as well, to get them to join our Eat Well series, which will continue through this entire fiscal year through spring of next year. So now we'd like to ask all of you to please do our evaluation, give us feedback on what you'd like to hear from us in the future as we plan our spring portion of this series. Your feedback is really, really important. And we'll be sending out these slides along with the link to the evaluation after today's session. And with that, we will, let me stop sharing and we will do our raffle. And one lucky winner will receive a gift card to Amazon. Oh, did it get stuck there? Shirai Barrera is our lucky winner. Thank you so much. And we'll be in touch with you to coordinate delivery of your gift card if you're still here. So thank you, everyone. And we will see you next month. Make sure to sign up and make sure you let all your colleagues, your faculty and staff know as well. Bye. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.